Today, I want to talk about the many dimensions of privilege. First off, note that there are innumerable ways in which people can be characterized, including by social class, income or wealth, wealth of one's parents, educational level, intelligence, which itself can be multidimensional, sex, race, ethnicity, nationality, first language, age, general health, height, weight or body shape, physical attractiveness, athletic ability, sexual practices or preferences, geographical location, job or profession, etc. Each type of characterization can be considered a separate dimension, and each individual a multidimensional being. Note that an individual may be, with respect to one dimension, in a group that has been traditionally disadvantaged, and with respect to another dimension, in a group that has been advantaged. Actually, the odds are that the great majority of individuals are in at least one advantaged and at least one disadvantaged group for some dimension of some importance. Any reasonable attempt to determine whether a person on balance is advantaged or disadvantaged would require a holistic approach to consider all dimensions with any significant impact on social status or quality of life. For example, a reasonable conclusion would be that a physically attractive, wealthy, well-educated African American woman is certainly more advantaged than a physically unattractive, poor, uneducated, white male immigrant from Serbia who was a child of poverty. But instead of following a somewhat sophisticated and consistent approach to determining whether an individual is holistically advantaged or disadvantaged, it has become common to use a lazy-minded and unimaginative approach and focus on just two superficial and easily identifiable characteristics, sex and race, with the implication that white males are the most privileged group, to the point of popularizing the term white male privilege. This is troubling not only because it ignores the great majority of dimensions that could be considered, but because those are not particularly powerful indicators of advantage or privilege in the USA in the 21st century. Wealth and income, followed by educational level of the individual and physical attractiveness, are much more powerful indicators of advantage. And if one does focus on race, it is problematic that Asian Americans outperform Caucasian Americans in wealth and income and in professional success. Also, if one focuses on sex, it is problematic that female college graduates outnumber males by a significant percentage, and the gap continues to grow. So the focus on just sex and race, with the resulting popularization of the term white male privilege, seems so inconsistent with any serious attempt at recognizing and addressing privilege that it appears that this narrative is not intended for the betterment of the whole of society over the long term. Having said all that, there is one additional point that should be made. There may be some validity to the notion of elite white male privilege. There are a number of elite white males who are more privileged than virtually anyone else on the planet. Actually, these elite white males mostly control the narratives that are promoted and disseminated, and almost certainly promote the narrative that all white males are privileged in order to deflect blame that has been narrowly focused on them and disperse it to a wider group, particularly on ordinary white males who are not really privileged at all in the modern era. To close, I would say that a more utilitarian approach would be to ensure that people are rewarded for contributing to the greater good, with the rewards distributed in such a manner so as to maximize the motivation to continue contributing to the greater good, and a focus on the race or sex or other personal characteristics of the individual actor detracts from that. Consistent with that, didn't someone once say that we should focus on the content of one's character?